Hi, I'm Mike from Oregon. I'm a product design engineer, and today I wanted to talk to you about upgrading to the new SpeedCut Nano cutting system. This is an all-new 325 low-profile system geared towards battery-powered as well as low-power gas chainsaws in the range of 20 to 38 cc. The SpeedCut Nano system includes the new 80TXL 325 low-profile chainsaw chain, drive sprocket, and guide bar. It's important to remember that the SpeedCut Nano system is not interchangeable with other systems. Now let's take a look at how easy it is to change a saw to the SpeedCut Nano system. Today we're going to cover the replacement of chainsaw chain, guide bar, and sprocket for some of the most popular compact, lightweight, battery or gas chainsaws. So before working, remember to wear the proper protective equipment. And what we're going to do now is remove the guide bar and chainsaw chain. So the tools we'll use are a scrunch or a appropriate wrench and screwdriver. So the first few steps we're going to do is to first loosen the stud nut, followed by loosening the chain tensioner, and then removing the stud nut completely so we could take the side cover off. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen the chain tension a little bit, followed by completely loosening the stud nut in order to remove the whole side cover. Now that the side cover's off, the next step is to remove the bar and chain. A quick tip is to take the bar and push it closer to the sprocket off the chain tensioning hole in order to loosen up the chain a little more to remove the bar. So we just finished removing the bar and chain from this saw right here. We've done the same thing for a few other saws, and we're gonna just go over some terminology of the clutch styles of each saw. So these two right here are outboard clutches, where the clutch is visible, and then you have the clutch cup inside of that. This one is an inboard clutch, where you can see the clutch cup is covering the actual clutch itself. And then this one is a keyed shaft, which has a certain sprocket that does not have a cup. There's no clutch. Something else to be aware of when replacing your sprocket and cutting system is to look at the sprocket for any signs of wear on the spur teeth themselves. Any excessive wear, any visible wear you see, we recommend changing out the sprocket. And then also check for any cracks or damage to the skirt cup itself. So the first system we're going to replace is the inboard clutch. So we have a E-clip and a washer that holds the clutch in place, and we need to first remove those. So when removing the E-clip, be careful, as sometimes it has a tendency to spring. So once you have the E-clip removed, you can remove the washer, and then the clutch cup can come right out. Now that we have the clutch cup removed, we need to inspect the bearing for any damage. If necessary, apply some grease to it. It's important for the new system that we install a new sprocket, guide bar, as well as chainsaw chain, as the system works as a whole. Now that we've inspected the bearing for this particular model, the clutch cup has a notch in it that we need to seat. Now that the clutch cup is installed properly, we can move on to installing the washer and E-clip. Now that this saw with the inboard clutch is ready to go for bar and chain, we're going to take a look at the keyed shaft sprocket. For the keyed shaft saw, you'll notice that we don't have the same clutch cup as we did for the previous saw. So what we're gonna need is a pair of snap ring pliers and the new sprocket. So the first step is gonna be using the snap ring pliers to remove the snap ring. The next step is removing the washer and then the old sprocket. So it's as simple as then taking the new sprocket, putting it on the shaft, aligning the flats, followed by the washer, and then the snap ring. And now that we have this one changed over, we'll take a look at the next saw, which is the outboard clutch. There are two styles of clutches. On this one, I recommend following the manufacturer's recommendations for removing the clutch. Some people use either brass punches or dowels to remove the clutch, and that is at your own risk. For this style, we'll be using an impact driver to remove the clutch. If you don't have one of those, you can use a wrench, but you'll likely need to insert some piston stop in order to stop the engine from turning over while removing the clutch. So when removing the clutch, it's important to remember that it's left-hand thread. So with the impact driver, just make sure it's going in that direction. So once you have the clutch loosened, you remove the clutch, remove the old sprocket, inspect the bearing for any damage, and re-grease it. And then you'll take the new sprocket and insert it back on the shaft with the greased bearing, making sure to align the oil pump drive features on the sprocket with the oil pump drive on the saw. Once that's done, we just put the clutch back in place. Remember, it's left-hand thread. Tighten that up, and you've changed it over. Now that we've converted these saws to have the SpeedCut Nano sprocket on them, we're going to go ahead and install the SpeedCut Nano guide bar and chain. The SpeedCut Nano system comes in different lengths, ranging from 10 to 16 inches. Here we have a 14-inch bar. We're going to first take that and slide it over the studs. It doesn't have to be aligned with the tensioning hole. We're going to take the chain. Sometimes it comes kind of looped up, but just unravel it. Then we take that chain, put it over the sprocket, line it up with the bar groove, and then over the nose. Once the bar is seated on the tensioning pin, we're going to take the cover and put it back on. Tightening the stud nut just a little bit so that it stays in place. Now that the cover's on, the next step is to tension the chain. What I like to do is lean the tip against the table so that you're pulling it forward. It helps through the tensioning process. So just tighten the tensioner with a scrunch until you get the chain seating properly into the bar grooves. Once it's seated within the bar grooves, turn it an additional quarter turn. And then what it will do is tighten the side plate all the way. When the side cover is fully tightened, you want to move the chain, but you want to make sure that the chain brake is off. So check that the chain moves freely within the guide bar itself. And then an additional check we like to do is what we call snap tight. Pull it from the bottom outside of the guide bar to where it's fully clear, and then let go and make sure that the chain snaps back into the bar. So with these few easy steps, you can upgrade your system to SpeedCut Nano. For available parts and fit-up information for SpeedCut Nano or other Oregon parts, visit OregonProducts.com. Thanks for watching.